18 or 19.
Hey, welcome to Come Follow 33, your faith journey podcast. Welcome back, Peter Grogan.
Thank you very much, Ted Thomas. Good to be here.
It is good to be here. We've
Yeah.
had a little bit of a break, and I'm glad we're back on a Monday, back in the saddle again.
Yeah, getting back to the regular schedule. This past week was weird.
We already starting with that?
Yeah, it was weird. Was strange.
Strange. Okay.
Was different.
We're using different, bigger words.
Yeah, it
maybe?
was. It took me for a loop.
Well, that's why this topic hopefully is going to throw you for a loop too, because some of us are experiencing this topic a little differently than
some
others.
Of you,
some of us.
You and your.
This is recognizing the midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a crisis. I think just talking through, we're middle age. I was thinking about, if we lived another 50 something years.
Yeah. It's weird to hear that I'm middle aged.
It's weird to hear.
I don't feel like I'm middle aged.
What do you feel?
And I'm sure a lot of people like me go through the same thing. I forget that I'm 57 years old until I'm with a bunch of 20 somethings and I go, oh yeah, I'm not that.
I'm not that.
But I forget. I mean, I do. I go to the gym and I work out with people that are younger. Go to work and there's younger people. And I just had a work trip to Las Vegas, and it was a big corporate thing, a trade show, and most of the people are 20s, 30s, 40s, and you forget, until certain things come up and you go, and they say, oh man, it's really cool, like when they have like 80s night, because I wonder what it would have been like in the 80s. And I say, let me tell you,
it was amazing.
Like, it was great.
It's nothing like now.
Yeah, it was wonderful to be growing up in the 80s. So but as far as what I typically think of as a midlife crisis, I don't feel that at all.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel some aches and pains of being older.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
There's some things happening to your body that out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like I've had a couple of things. I'm like, is this what it is to get older?
Yeah.
I guess it is. I got to do something about it. I think that's you're big into fitness, but I've never been really big into fitness. I've done a lot of sports, but I'm like, well, I actually have to go to the gym. I've got to do these stretches. I got to do these things, or I'm going to have more and more pain. So it's. I think I talked about this before. Is like I'm going to the gym now before I have to go to the gym.
Yeah.
So that I'm trying to extend, as many years as I can. Travel's obviously been one of those things that has inspired me to take better care of my body, because when you're in a foreign land and you want to walk and you want to see things, because you're like, I don't know if I'll be back here, you start to think about being in better shape. And
but I do know that at my age, I'm a little more careful and I'm a little more aware at the gym. And both Valerie and I have kind of succumbed to the fact that we're not there to lift the heaviest weights in the gym. We're there to keep ourselves moving. We're there to keep our bodies in shape. But I've said to myself, I don't need to keep adding weight. I'm all right.
You're all right.
Yeah.
You're all right.
I'm all right.
I think you start thinking about, for me, being tall and being big, like I'm probably more prone to some injuries as I get older. So I do play it safe. I think I played it safe. Actually, I separated my shoulder playing flag football when I was probably about 32. And I was like, okay, that's it.
You were old then.
And I was old then.
Yeah.
And at that point I was like, I can't be playing like this anymore. I've got to, I don't want to not be able to walk, or I don't want to feel all these pains. I really kind of just got to sports where it was like, I'm not going to push myself, or I'm not going to try to get the extra base if I'm playing softball, or I'm not going to dive for everything. It's like, this is co-ed.
Right.
And it's for fun, and it's for, yes, there's some competition, but I don't have to hurt myself in the time.
My nephew, Craig, who is the vice president of the company, he went this past weekend, he went on a paintball weekend with his brother and some of his brother's friends. And Craig's, I think, turning 45 this year. He's feeling aches and pains. And he got shot in the arm with one of the paintballs, and he's just got a massive bruise. And he's telling us this whole story. And then he says, and I'm really thinking of putting together like a corporate game, right? And
This
yeah,
is why I
right
want to be a
after
part of the
he
corporate
tells
team.
that story, and I said, I go, well, that sounds like a lot of fun, but he's telling me about guys that are diving and rolling and jump, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. I might just sit up in the crow's nest and just shoot everybody.
Sniper.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I got to keep active because I want to participate in stuff like that. I hear it and think that sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think there's some things where we're moving from, I think when we're earlier trying to find our identity, what are some of the things that we really want to do and become, to now kind of looking at how am I leaving a legacy, or how am I building spiritual depth in my life to do more. And one of the things that's kind of come up for me is starting to think about, I try to be around the next generation as much as possible. That's why I'm involved with youth group and hearing some of the kids and seeing the fun they have. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of fun. I wish I participate as much as I can.
Right.
But other things, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch them. It's good.
Yeah.
But again, pouring into this next generation, not only your kids, but anybody that God puts in your path. And that's been one of the things that I think in the first half of your life, you're just, I want to say it's a lot about you and achieving some of your goals. And then now it becomes, even with in my workplaces, helping others achieve their goals. There's satisfaction in seeing somebody get promoted, seeing somebody move forward.
Well, and
even
seeing
though
your kids do the same thing, seeing your kids be successful. For some of us, seeing your grandchildren like hit those milestones, and yeah, I mean, of course, coworkers and friends and family, you love seeing that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think the older that I get, the less it's about me. That's me. Some people maybe,
I think it's, for me, it's less about me, and it's more for me is, what, I guess, am I leaving to somebody else? What is that? Again, back to that legacy. Will they remember? I remember listening to something and them saying, after you die, I know we're talking about this, like, how long before people won't even remember you?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, and if you didn't really have a lot to give, or a lot to, to show, they'll probably forget you quickly. So yeah, I mean, I think you look at it and you say, I want to contribute, so that there will be a legacy, so that, people will talk about, and you want people to talk about you in a good way and remember you more, and more so than just your family. I mean, of course your family's always going to remember you, but I mean, yeah, I think being involved, volunteering, participating, all of these things, I think, create a legacy. I mean, you don't have to win like an Oscar to be part of a legacy. You can make a difference. You can be remembered as that guy that was always helping out, that guy that was always volunteering, and sometimes sitting it out because the crowd's too young.
Yeah. The spending time, even this weekend, with 3-year-olds was enjoyable. It's a little crazy, a little chaotic.
Yes.
But I do see the value of, hey, these parents get to drop their kid off for an hour and get to enjoy service.
Right.
And then I get to play with these young kids that are just fun and goofy and talk and just figuring life out.
Yeah.
And it's fun for me. I don't know. And as a grandparent, it's different for like an hour or two. Sometimes you have to spend longer times.
Well, I mean, Valerie and I definitely have nights where we'll watch the kids so that Nicole and her husband can go out. And I mean, sometimes it's, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, 7 hours, but I mean, that's your family.
That's your family.
I don't know, I don't know how that would be like hanging out with 3-year-olds for that long if they weren't, if you didn't love them.
Exactly. There's something, an investment there.
Yeah.
So also with midlife, a lot of us try to shed some weight, try to drop some weight. And instead of just physical weight, I wasn't talking about you having to drop whatever amount of pounds.
LBs.
But you might have to drop some old hurts or some things that, maybe you didn't achieve this success and now you're dropping them so you can travel lighter in this journey.
Yeah.
And what might be something that you would drop to say, hey, this is something I don't need to achieve. I'll ask you,
Yeah.
but I got one if
No,
you need some time.
I automatically comes to mind is the fact that in the past, I would really hold on to grudges and hold on to hurts, you know. Um, and I've definitely dropped that. I've learned to, you know, let bygones be bygones, as people say. And I would say that there was a time when I was a very black and white person, and it's like if it wasn't what I wanted, then it was completely wrong. And I'm slowly I've gotten to the point where that's not the case. Where I can kind of take things in stride and kind of let some things, just fall to the wayside. And I think that just for me, dropping those, holding on to grudges and holding on to anger and holding on to disappointments, I think that one of the things for me was that I always had this really high expectation of everything and everybody.
Mhm.
And I think that once I was able to kind of let that go, I think I've let a lot of weight go.
I think I've let go of trying to. It's just a work in progress for me.
Correct.
But the work in progress is things aren't always black and white. Like
Yeah.
you want things your way,
Yeah.
and when they don't, others don't do how things you would have done it, instead of being like disappointed in that, allowing opportunity for growth in that area
Right.
and growth for you even, right?
Yeah.
Like, so with your kids, with your friends, with coworkers, like this is how I would have done it. And they don't do it that way. And I'm trying to let go of some of that. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that important for me because they're not even thinking about it. They're not even,
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of wasting of energy
Yes.
about why didn't they do it this way?
And they walked away without that thought.
Not even a second thought.
Yeah. That's the thing is you're carrying this thing and you're winding yourself up, and they just went. I mean, it happens with people in when they're driving.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody cuts you off. You take that with you all the way to work. They stopped at 7-Eleven and got something to drink, and they're just like whistling, and they don't know. So yeah, I mean that is a perfect example of things that I've let go
Mm-hmm.
or trying to let go. I said slowly, every once in a while. And I even, I'll catch myself, and Valerie will kind of laugh a little bit, and then she'll hear me say, sorry, Lord, I didn't mean to lose it there.
Right. I'll say Ruth does the same with me. Like, we weren't perfect. Why are we expecting perfection out of other people? Why are we expecting more than we actually were at that same age?
Right.
And
Yep.
allowing for mistakes, allowing for failures. I think one of the areas is allowing for failures.
Yeah.
Like having the wisdom to say, yeah, I wouldn't go down that path. That's yours. And letting people learn from it. Like, I'm still here. I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm not going, because it may not come true.
Right.
That's the other part. You might think this is going to happen. If you do A, B is going to happen.
Right.
It doesn't happen. C or D happens. That's how
Yeah.
God usually works. And then even if it does happen, being there and not lording it over them. Like, I told you, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
So we recognize this midlife, but now as we're moving into this shifting from a competitor to a building up of others, thinking about mentorship, thinking about the father-in-law, which I'm going to be a father-in-law here.
I know.
In probably less than a year. And
it's cool.
It is kind of cool. Like
it
thinking
is.
About, okay, I might have some influence over somebody else, not over them, but with them.
Right.
To help give some advice, some mentorship. And I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about that, not just for my future son-in-law, but actually for, even in our community.
Right.
How are we with these young boys?
Yeah.
Helping them to become men. And that's one area I'm really excited about.
No, I agree. I think that's an awesome opportunity that you have to influence, to guide, because I mean, they're young, they're very young, and I mean, they're I got to say that they're taking a leap that a lot of young people have put off. I think the generation before them, they were a little apprehensive about taking that leap.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things I like about your daughter's generation is that I think that they've looked at that generation before them and said, I think you guys missed out on how wonderful it is to start a family
Hmm.
early.
Right.
Because I think, when I married Valerie, I was 27. When we first started dating, I was 25. And, it was like, wow, you're going to do this already? And it was like, well, what am I going to wait for?
Hmm.
You know? So, I mean, anyway, I got off on a tangent, but I personally think it's wonderful for you. I think it's wonderful for them, as a young couple to know, hey, this is what we want to do. And, I think that it's great for all of you. And I think that taking your little step towards, not holding on to stuff and, taking it a little lighter, shedding some weight and looking at the situation in that manner, I think you're going to enjoy this part,
I hope so.
because being a father-in-law is great. It is. My daughter Nicole and her husband Richard, they're a great couple. They've got 2 children. We love the grandchildren, but we also love. I mean, it's great to have this young man. You know, say I'm his father-in-law. And it's like he respects that, but we still have a great time. We still get along really well, and it's a really awesome relationship. It's different than your relationship with your son, but it's a really cool thing to be somebody's father-in-law.
Hmm. Yeah, I think about Jethro, who is Moses' father-in-law, and he comes to mind because he gave Moses some really good advice. Moses was trying to make all the decisions for all the Israelites. Whenever there was a problem, everybody had to come to Moses.
Yeah,
And Jethro said, "Hey, why don't you put some people over 100, people over 50, people over 10, and let those guys raise up this next generation
yeah,
to take on some of the weight
yep,
instead of you taking on the weight," right? Giving
yeah.
that wisdom to
Great
him. So he's
advice.
like, you don't have to take the weight of a million people. Let some other people train them up, get them ready, get them, give them opportunity. I think that's the
Hmm.
other thing is
Yeah,
giving the next generation. That's why I really am in favor of multi-generational community groups,
yeah,
because you get this young energy, you got some old mentorship, you got some people in the middle
yeah.
that are trying to figure it out.
Are we in the middle, or are we the just
We're the gray hairs
okay? Got
or
it.
no
Got
hairs.
it.
We're towards, you know what somebody
Yeah.
said? This is funny. We are adolescent seniors. We don't know what we're doing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We're the
That
youngest
makes sense.
of the seniors. So
Well, yeah.
we're
So
kind of adolescent trying to figure it out ourselves, just at a
right.
different level.
That's how it is at our place. We're in a 55 and over, you know, community, and we're the youngest ones there. So we're the kids,
The
and
kids.
everybody kind of goes, "Oh, that's cute. He's working on his place." You know,
Yeah,
he'll
we
learn
already
that you
done
just
that.
just stop.
I feel like stopping already.
Yeah.
That's one of the areas I I need to find somebody to mentor. I've said this many times. Hey, I've got all kinds of projects. I need somebody who wants to make some money to come
Mhm.
over and do them with me, because my kids don't want to do
Yeah.
it. But somebody who needs some money or wants to do it, I'm like, I just don't want to get on a 12-foot ladder and be at the top
16
of a
foot, I think,
pole.
is what I was on. That was a 16-foot ladder.
I was like, I do not want to be up
Yeah.
there screwing something in 15 feet up. It's a long way down from
It
here.
is. And you know what? I think I was up and down that ladder, what, 30
You and
times
Ty
or
were the
so?
right people for the job. You guys were
Yeah.
perfect.
I mean, I know we're going to move on, but I just wanted to throw something out. I was just reminded of. I don't know what I was watching, and I apologize. There's only a million things on YouTube,
Hmm.
but I was watching this show, and they were talking about how parents need to start letting their children do things and fail.
Hmm.
And something reminded me, and I apologize.
I said that
I'll
that
make
we
this
we
quick. Yeah,
we shelter them. We tell them,
yeah,
no, 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 don't do that. Right.
yeah.
In this safety protection mode, right? That we're like, we don't want you to go through what we went through, or we
Right.
don't want you to feel the pain and suffering of things that we did wrong. So we don't allow them to just
Yeah.
go out and
And I
fail.
think that's one of the reasons why, and I mentioned that this younger generation, I think, has kind of taken the previous generation and said, okay, we see what you did and didn't do. And I think that this newer generation, and we see it at church, that whole front row, I've said it before, these are very young kids,
Mhm.
teens and early 20s, and they are looking at that last generation and saying, we're gonna do it right, and we're not gonna wait, we're not gonna we're not going to be afraid to take some risks. We're not going to be afraid to start a family and get things going. And I think it's fantastic. Anyway, that's basically what this message was on the show. And I thought, it's kind of crazy because it's our generation, you and I, it's our generation that kind of created that whole generation of children that are just, they don't move out, they don't take risks, they don't invest, they don't, it's like,
Yeah, it's kind of like a pendulum if you think about it, how our
Yeah.
parents were probably, boomers that were a little more strict.
Yeah.
The way that they did things, it was their way or the highway.
Right.
And then ours was like probably the pendulum swung a little bit like, I'm not going to do it like that.
Right.
And there might have been some things, or, maybe a little better. Like I even saw something. They said our generation is actually of the 5 generations. They put
Yeah.
us as number 1, Gen
I know.
X. So,
But
like,
you don't hear a lot about us because we're just doing it. We're buying houses, we're having kids, we're having grandchildren. We're not complaining about it. We're not, we're the generation that just said, hey, got to do what you got to do.
Right. We're doers.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to do it.
Yep.
Maybe not exactly how our parents did.
Right.
I think you get some of that on both sides. You get too strict or you get too loose. But I do think there's still that protection and things like that where take some risks.
Yeah.
Take them when you're in your 20s.
That's
like,
exactly
I took some risks. We took risks with our business, but we were, I want to say, in our 30s.
Yeah.
Right. And that was scarier because, okay, I wish I would have done that was in the 20s,
Right.
because it took 10 years to recover sometimes from some of those risks.
Yeah.
And you take maybe some smaller risks, even, the job market. It's like, well, go take a risk, do something, don't wait for the perfect thing.
Yeah.
The perfect thing is not going to come. I probably hurt my neck this weekend just trying to find different things. And I'm like, there's no perfect thing.
Yeah.
You got to just go out and pick something and do it.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
That's how, even with, wow, that was weird. I was like, I'm getting wild over here.
You are.
I wow,
just, look at you. Just
hands are moving.
Willy-nilly.
What did you say?
So you're all willy-nilly.
Oh, willy-nilly. Yeah, I'm all over the place. But yeah, I would say make some more risks. We always kind of talk about what would you tell our younger self? What would be some of the, what do you want to pass down?
Yeah.
To connect with the younger generation, some vulnerability. And I would say for me would be take risks earlier.
Yeah.
Do something that, it's okay to fail when you're young. You typically, even I've told my kids, I'm like, hey, I'm your safety net as long as I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here for you.
Yeah.
So if you don't take any risks and you wait till I'm gone, then it's going to hurt more. Right. Then you're going to suffer more things. So take more risks now, do something. I just don't know that all the younger generation, I think spiritually, I'm seeing kind of, they even talked about it. There's like this revival happening with people seeing the world and seeing, there's more things. But then I think from the workplace and working things out, that there are a lot of people that are taking risks, and some make it, some don't. But that's part of life.
That is risk and reward. Yeah. I mean, you just said, that's kind of where I was going with that. When I took that little jettison, I think that seeing the young generation taking risks, I would also say, don't be afraid to just make choices. Don't wait. A lot of people are saying, well, I'm going to wait till we've got our careers going, and I'm going to wait till we've got this going, and then we're going to start a family. I was like, okay, well then what, are you going to start a family at 40? Because you can, but that's not optimal. It's like when you're young, you have the energy to have children. And when you're older, you have the energy to play with those children and then send them home.
Right.
So you are in your 20s. This is the time to get married, to have children, to take risks, to buy a house, to do these things. And if you're going to wait till it's a perfect condition, you're probably just going to talk yourself out of it as long as you can. And sometimes you just got to dive in.
Right.
And have faith. I think my mother-in-law said it to me more like so many times in my life that the Lord's not going to give you more than you can handle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you do it. It's Generation X. We're just doers.
Just doers. There you go.
And I'll pass that on to whatever is going on. Generation Alpha. I forget what's what, but these young people, I think there's a light switch that went on, and I think that they, more than the millennials and the Gen Zs, I think this Gen Alpha is, I think, what's this younger generation, and they see that, and I think that young generation has a light switch has gone off, and they've said, hey, I think the way to do it is to do it, and maybe not all young people, but I see so many young people saying faith in God, and I'm going to have faith in my family and my country, and I mean it's coming back around again. I think it really is.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. I mean, it's, everything's exciting for a newbie like me, but it's like I see it, and I think it's very exciting.
I think the first thing you said that we try to promote on the show is faith in God.
Yeah.
Like that your faith in God, wherever you're at in your journey, is to seek him and to find him and to trust him in the midst of failure, in the midst of success, and to give him the glory, to say, God, you know all things about me. You know my heart, and I'm going to go after this. And maybe not everybody's going to agree. If you get on social media, not everybody's going to agree with you. I think there is some wisdom. Like you should seek some counsel from maybe somebody who's a little bit older just to see, but in the end, it's your decision. And a lot of these things that you can do, you're not going to have the money for it. You're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to work harder, smarter, do some things that
work hard. And here's one other thing that I would recommend to young people: learn to do things, learn to be a do-it-yourselfer, and save money. And you don't have to pay for the gardener and pay for somebody to come and paint your house. You don't have to pay for somebody to do all of those things. You can do them.
Right. Us midlife people, we can pay, right? Like some of us.
Yeah.
I'm not saying,
but I mean,
my thing is like, hey, if there's people that are older, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
A big market is baby boomers that have the money that will pay you to do some of these things.
Yeah.
So go work for them, right? And learn from them because they've done something right.
Yeah.
And they have some wisdom that sometimes getting a mentor, that'll kind of bring us back. Like, people have to want to be mentored. I think that's one of the challenges I found is that people want to do everything by themselves, want to figure everything out by themselves. And then there is failure and they haven't put themselves in a position where they're ready to receive feedback or ask for feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with men, I think men are more of the Lone Ranger type. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do it all by myself.
Yeah.
And you want that. What's the word? Like I don't know, this is a good word. The gumption or the willpower to I have this energy to do it.
Yeah.
But you also want to have, okay, who else could I talk to about this? So I don't make all bad mistakes. I get somebody on my team, like not the Lone Ranger, and bounce ideas off of people. And in the end, you still are responsible for that. I mean, I even find that even at midlife, I'll talk to two of my brothers about situations. And I find a lot of times one will be this way and one will be that way. And it's like, okay, I like both of them, but it's probably somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Because it's their experience, right? This person had this experience. This person had this experience. They're only going off of that. And if I take one, I had this with my coach, because I have a life coach as well as a mentor. And he's like, no, that wasn't good feedback.
Yeah.
But I was like, at the time, I thought it really was. And asking somebody else gave me a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right? Not that you need 27 perspectives.
No, but it is good to have a few.
It's good to
like
have
getting 3 proposals for a project. You got a high, a low, and a mid.
That's a good analogy.
It's true.
Like if you had 3, maybe you have 3 options too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I can do A, B, and C. Maybe talk to 3 people and see what they say. And if there's a tie, you break the tie.
Yeah. You might go with the highest bid. You might go,
you might get the best thing from that.
It's better. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we've talked about midlife crisis quite a bit.
Yeah.
We went from the forest to the fire.
See, I don't think that you're having a midlife crisis.
No, I think it's just good to talk about it, though.
It is good.
Like,
because before we started, Ted was thinking maybe I think I might be having a midlife crisis. And he asked me and I said, no. I mean, maybe I am. And
it's a stereotypical one. Is like, I didn't buy a Corvette. I didn't, I didn't do all these things. Mine is more of, hey, again, what legacy am I leading? I've been in my job a long time.
Yeah.
Is this mentoring people? Even as we talk through, it's like, okay, I enjoy mentoring other people. I get to do that at my job. I got to
Right.
find joy in that
Yeah.
versus the actual job itself.
Yeah. And I think the real issue in your situation is you love what you do, you love mentoring people, and you don't like a lot of the politics.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
what,
was last episode.
yeah. There's always politics.
There's always
Yeah.
politics,
No matter
where
what.
you go.
No
You're
matter
gonna
what the topic is,
There we go. That's
there's
another
politics.
episode.
Okay.
All right.
Right on.
All right. So what's our call to action for our viewers, listeners tonight?
Well, let's see. I guess our call to action is if I don't know, if you've got a decision that you're kind of pondering on, or if you're trying to decide whether or not you're going to, go after that job, or maybe, buy that house. I think you got to just make that decision, jump in the deep end, and don't be afraid to do it.
And if it comes out wrong, then you can comment.
Yeah.
And you can dislike
Yeah.
Peter, not Ted.
If it doesn't work out, don't
You
say,
can give
well,
half a
it's that
dislike
guy's
for
fault.
Peter.
It's,
You can give us a nice comment.
No, I think that's my advice is it's never going to get easier. It's never going to get cheaper. If you're thinking about, well, I'm going to wait, it's never going to get cheaper. It's never going to get easier. If it's something that you really want, buying a house, starting a family, and I think on the same token, if you're like sitting there thinking, I wonder if I should, I've been thinking about following Christ, and maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I'm not sure. I don't, dive in. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But I'm going to tell you right now that it is for you. So
yeah, it's good. That is good.
Yeah.
You're never going to know everything.
Right.
In your
Yeah.
spiritual
I still
journey
don't
with
know everything,
people,
and it's been
you're
2
learning,
years.
you're continuing to learn, even 30 years later. I
Yeah.
listen to the word and, oh, wow. And I relearn. And it is a step of faith, right? It's a step of faith
Mhm.
that you put your trust in a God that's bigger than anything out there,
Yeah.
that he knows what's best for you. And maybe that trial leads you to, even in failure, as you draw closer to him
Mhm.
and draw closer to his people and depend on others and depend on God in a way that you never have. And we want to encourage people as they're walking this out, they hear this, maybe it encourages them to take that next step of faith and find people in your life that are following after God.
Yeah.
That you can, I saw this guy, he was 25. He's never been to church, and one of his friends invited him on Sunday. He goes, wow, it was actually kind of neat.
Yeah.
Because somebody invited him, right? They didn't think, well, somebody invited me, somebody invited you
Yeah.
to walk this out, and we're
Yeah.
better off because of it, because of our faith in God and faith in one another.
Absolutely. Well said.
So that's going to give us a wrap for episode, what did we say? 18?
Is it 18 or is it
18.
19?
It's 18.
18. Okay.
Yes, episode 18.
18.
So 18 is in the
more
books.
than I think
10 more.
10 more than we were hoping for.
Yeah. Now we're good. Next episode we'll talk about maybe where we're going with the next 18.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. That's a wrap. God bless you.
God bless.